The next game for Indiecember and the last one of today is Aether and Iron. Decopunk. Play a bonus combat encounter from later in the game that unlocks after you complete your first combat in the main campaign. Let's just do the main campaign. For those who seek a true test of their skills. God, look at that music, dude. I feel like I'm on a rooftop. And there's like in front of me is a rival mob boss, and I'm like ready to like kick his fingers and have him fall off the building, right? Like that's the music that's playing. It's amazing. Yeah, it's like Shadowrun. It's like an epic moment in Shadowrun. I don't know which one I want. Those want a mix of engaging storytelling and challenging gameplay. Want the story only. Challenge. Ooh. Oh, wait a minute. One save and permadeath? My man. That is sick. Oh.
Every man, woman, and child remembers the day that Aether first captured their imagination. That gravity became nothing more than an inconvenience. Prepare yourselves, fair citizens of New York, to feel such wonder again. The Helicline Institute of Aethonics is announcing an early Aether Tech showcase ahead of the 1939 World's Fair. So come one and come all, and be inspired. Gaze upon new skyward frontiers and see that there is no alternative to a future amongst the heavens.
Looks like it's time. There's no thriving in this city, not in the lowers. They call it that for a reason. Drowning in the rain, lost in the shadow of the uppers. But with a job like today's, a girl can hope to finally catch her breath. Just a transport. No guns, no complications, no room for another screw-up. A second chance from a hard case like Mr. Blanc doesn't come around often. I just hope he's not setting me up.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Decopunk is 1930s retrofuturism. Is that accurate? Let me look it up real quick, just to make sure. Also known as Attention Dieselpunk, is a subset of the punk sci-fi genre, set around the Art Deco and streamed, let's see, styles of the 1910s to 1940s. Sleeker and shiny aesthetic compared to Dieselpunk. Yeah, Dieselpunk is real grungy. Well, I guess Decopunk is 1910 to 1940s. That's cool. That's really cool. You don't see a lot of Decopunk stuff. You really don't.
Still isn't cooking right. Mr. Blanc doesn't give second chances to anyone. After that last job went south, he could have tossed me into the well and watched me get torn apart 6 ways to Sunday.
Now leaving the station.
Someday, I can leave the smuggling business behind. I won't have to worry about backroom deals, meddling tyrants, or pulling pennies from the smoke of a gun. Maybe I could even find a place in the uppers to thrive. Too bad I'm only welcome up here on business. For now.
Dude,
Someday,
sick.
I'll have a whole place to myself up here. Something entirely mine. No thing and nobody holding me down. Just me and the open sky. Finally free.
This art is awesome. Yeah, this art is really, really awesome, dude. By the way,
I slip into one of the ritziest hideaways in the uppers, long after the rich and sauced have sauntered off to bed. The glass cage cleans up nice after hours, but no amount of soap will wash away the stink of high-class gin and imported cologne.
to be clear, this is an indie game that is self-published. So they're doing an awesome job with this. And it looks like it is their first game. I want to talk to the dev. We're going to be talking to the devs in about an hour. And I can't wait to talk to them about this because this is awesome, dude. Yeah. Great ambience. Hero talents. Complete missions and encounters to earn EXP and level up. When you level up, each of your heroes gain a talent point for you to spend. Each hero has access to different talents. Increase your talent proficiency to be more likely to succeed in dialogue, talent checks, and unlock new skills. So we get a roleplay portion of it and a combat portion. Increasing talents can unlock new skills. These skills grant your hero new abilities and bonuses when they're part of your crew. See how your heroes unlock skills on the right. Oh, dear God. There is so many. You got brass, you got hustle, you got smarts. That's great, actually. You thrive on risk and pushing your limits. Oh, my God, dude. Improves success with daredevil checks and unlocks upgrades that boost AP when health is low. Smooth talker. Charm and persuasion. Gumshoe. Track down leads and uncover hidden truths. I kind of want to go Gumshoe, man. Gumshoe's cool. Huh. I want to go gumshoe. More gumshoe. Sick. And that means we can get ally vehicles next to this vehicle gain the hastened effect later. Tip off. And sabotage. We can break stuff. Break cars.
My shoe gives the glass floor a wary tap as I scan the room. I ignore the booze hound glued to the table and turn to the stern-faced bartender.
Your shoe, huh? Your gumshoe? It's all coming together. Narration is really good. Oh, dude, it's like a point-and-click adventure in this.
The regulars flock here to take in the view over a bottle of something expensive and bubbly. Every now and then, a soul gets grounded. And this is the best seat in the house.
Holy shit, that's a scary-ass thing. Look at the floor.
The booze hound's a whistling faucet, and his drool-spattered watch is worth more than my whole outfit.
Jesus.
As good a mouthwash as any. Might come in handy later, too. Currency in my line of work isn't always green. The bartender gives me a look as I grab the long-necked top-shelf swill and take a drink.
What are you gonna do about it? Bartender? Glass birds and glass shoes.
The bartender's eyes follow my hands, making sure I don't get too familiar with the patron's belongings. I approach the counter. Morgan?
Ooh, hype train. Thank you.
I give a curt nod without response. Any other gift of familiarity would be wasted. Wilson out? A deep sullenness passes over the man.
What can I do for you, Miss Randazzo?
Okay, we get talent checks during the interactions. Press about Wilson. Ask about business. Oh! This one is a difficulty easy because we have gumshoe. It's already paying off. I'm gonna press about Wilson. I rolled a 7. I needed a 5+. I rolled an 8, actually. Nice.
Morgan's eyes are gray, his knuckles raw, and the scent of 2-day-old body odor breaks through his strong cologne.
Jesus.
Wilson never misses a shift.
Never's a big word, Miss Randazzo. Especially in this line of work.
I'm gonna ask about business.
It's been a while. How's business, Morgan?
Business carries on as usual, Miss Randazzo.
Man, he really doesn't want to talk about this right here, does he? We're,
Mr. Blanc's morning is full, and in the evening, we host Kit Holiday.
This VA is awesome.
I know that
Yeah.
name from the radio. Shame I'll have to miss hearing her live. The glass cage might tolerate my presence during after hours, but its patience runs dry whenever respectable clientele's on the floor. I got a meeting with Mr. Blanc. Let him know I'm here.
So soon. I'm surprised. And without your uncle.
His eyes meet mine, challenging me to say anything, to reach for my piece, to balk, maybe even cry. I slowly inhale. It's too early to let some high-nosed stiff get his kicks in, so I smile.
Damn.
I'm missing an Apollo Diamond picture to be here, Morgan. Help a girl out. The bartender frowns while he polishes a small tumbler.
I actually love this.
He's expecting me. I don't intend to make him wait. Do you?
Ooh. Why are we grayscale and everything else is in color? It's only when she's monologuing. Internal monologue.
That did the trick.
See?
He reaches his hand under the counter, slowly. A part of me waits for a fiery roar of buckshot to tear through the mahogany. Instead, I hear a click and muted bell.
Yeah, it's just like it's a very soft change to show that the character's having an internal thought.
They'll be with you shortly, Miss Randazzo. I assume you can show yourself out afterwards.
A familiar scent fills the air and blazy smoke drifts to the corner of my eye, drawing my attention to a darkened booth. The table's already set. A narrow beam of light splits the booth. On my side, a glass of my favorite whiskey. On the other, an ember held in the hands of a man more shadow than flesh.
Drink.
Let's appreciate the drink. I think it's a good idea. Maybe... Ooh, but we can do strategist. I feel... We're dealing with a mobster, right? I feel like if you cut to the chase, you're kind of being disrespectful. But also, I feel like you could poison me by drinking this. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to appreciate what's given. I'm gonna take the chance.
I down the high-class poison. Might as well enjoy it while I can. A smooth burn sits on my tongue and melts clean through the jitters. The shadow sighs around the cigarette, as though he'd sipped from the glass himself.
Manners. Good.
He stubs out the pleasantries with his dying cigarette. Onto a new smoke. Onto business.
See? Good
A
interaction.
young woman from the Heights requests transport to the lowers. Nowhere in particular.
That's an odd request.
The Heights? What's some girl from upstairs want in the slums?
Ooh, shouldn't ask that.
I don't care. She requested discretion.
Ask about the client.
She seem like the type to cause trouble? If she's getting into my car, I need to know what to expect.
She is young, naive, harmless. No threat to you.
Oh, that's a 50-50 almost, man. That sounds suspicious as shit. I'm gonna coax him into saying more. It's a bit risky, but I feel like I want to take the risk on this. I want to know more about
You're
the
the
target.
one who knows things, and that's all you know?
Whew.
The
Worth.
girl's hiding. I found her buying passage from an unsavory sort, and I offered her an alternative. She's desperate, and she had money.
Oh, desperation and money don't go well together. You usually lose one or the other.
That was
Or both.
nothing. But more than I could have hoped from a man who charges a premium on information.
I'm gonna ask about the simplicity of the job,
Sounds too easy.
because it does.
For you, Randazzo, too easy is all you get. For now.
Doesn't trust us with harder
And
jobs.
if she brings
Fair.
in heat from the Heights?
I trust you will adapt. What about Wilson?
Where's
What happened to
Wilson?
him?
Morgan looks worse for wear out there. The yellow flame flashes on caught breath.
Wilson's probably dead. The more that I think about this.
Mr. Wilson is no longer under my employ.
Oh. Yeah, I think he's actually dead.
Shame. He owes me money. Know where I can find him?
Look down.
The booth darkens to a silent gloom. Even the embers quiet their dull murmurings as Mr. Blanc leans forward again.
You'd do best to forget Mr. Wilson, him and those he associated with, or you too will find yourself out of my employ.
Yeah. She's not catching the drift, I think.
I'd struck a nerve, one that ran deep. Too deep for me to feel comfortable going any further. Mr. Blanc is a monster in his own right. I don't want to know what ghosts haunt his closet. I'll get it done in a few hours.
I love the
Maybe
animation
next
for
time we
him.
talk, the work will require more than my babysitting skills.
Your reputation is mud, Randazzo. This is charity. Do the job. You'll be paid.
He's like, this is easy. Stop talking to me. Go away.
Half your usual.
Half your usual? Yo. Oh, do we smooth talk him? Or do we demand? Oh, that's a shit deal. I'm gonna demand it. Yes! Victory is mine.
Half? No. You shouldn't even be giving me a job. You might call it charity, I call bull. Maybe I don't need to know all the details, but I am going to get paid what I deserve.
Hell yeah.
Careful.
I'm walking a knife's edge with bare feet, and he knows it. But he also knows I have a point. He could have given this job to anyone, but he didn't. He gave it to me. I wasn't going into this blind, not without proper pay. I'll find something else. I've worked my way from the bottom before. I don't need this.
Ooh.
I stand to leave, burying the bluff as far in my gut as I can, keeping it from bouncing out with gritted teeth and a hand near my holster.
Ooh.
Randazzo, stay put. Take the job or not. You do not leave without my say-so.
I turn around. Sweat pools at the base of my neck for several moments as I stare intently into the dark.
Your usual pay. Hell yeah. Doubled our money and didn't even die.
And Randazzo, do not do that again.
I love that they put this graphic in here to, like, really sell it, you know? Not just this here, but, like, the dude's face. Like, don't do that again.
We'll find her outside. Being
$30.
obvious. Good luck, Randazzo.
The text didn't match. You'll find her outside being obvious. Yeah. Oh, wait, there we go. Mission log. Alright. I love the music in this. Secure the obvious client. Speak to Mr. Blanc carefully. Oh, we got pockets. Okay, so we can sort it. We can move stuff around. It's like... nice. And then we have vehicles as well, and we can put stuff in the glove box in the trunk storage. We can determine repulsors. We can modify the vehicles. Dude, how deep does this get? This is awesome, man. Codex. In-game encyclopedia through the story, complete missions. I have so many questions. Look how many freaking crew there are. There's 9 crew members, 3 barons, 12 other people, Mr. Blanc. Dreamland. Nation's Crusade. Locations other in Misk. White Street. Strata. The lower is the upper is the heights. So all of society is based on how high up in the sky you are. Manager crew. Got it. Did we get any levels? Still level 1. I don't know if I want to go, like, Gumshoe. Like, there's so many different ways to do this, but I think the idea of being kind of a daredevil is also kind of fun. Like, I think that's really neat. Gain 1 HP each round is disgusting. That's crazy. So maybe the idea of doing this, like Grease Monkey. Grease Monkey and Gumshoe seem really cool. I'm down with that.
A string of yellow cabs idle at the curb, their vultures squawking at a young woman standing on the sidewalk, barely 20. She's a bird of paradise, too colorful for the drab concrete jungle around her. Obvious was right. That's the one.
She's stupid obvious, dude. Way too obvious.
One of the buzzards has her cornered. The girl's smile is a mask. She's being polite, but she doesn't realize how ugly this could get.
Convince the cabbies to leave. Scare the cabbies off with Enforcer. Buy the cabbies off. We could lose the liquor, but we got an 83% chance of scaring them. I'ma scare him.
Beat it. This fare's mine.
Nice.
The cabbie gawps at me, stunned I dare intrude on his meal ticket. He sneers and turns back to the girl possessively.
Ooh.
You pay her no mind, doll. Listen, do you like music?
I step forward and dig the snout of my pistol into the unwashed folds of his exposed neck. At the cold touch of iron, he lets out a little rat squeak.
This game rocks, dude.
Now that's music.
Oh boy,
You're with me, Principessa. The girl locks eyes with me and instantly puts the pieces together. She's a fast one.
thanks ever so much, but my friend's here? Have a nice day.
She trots over to me. The buzzards grumble and fly off, on the prowl for their next piece of roadside meat, leaving one stubborn hanger-on to squawk.
You better watch your back, girlie. We'll see you later.
That sure was scary. I didn't realize... thank you, Miss Smuggler?
Maybe you're not as smart as I thought.
I give her a once-over, like a filament warming up inside a bulb. Her shaken nerves are slowly replaced with a beaming smile. My silence doesn't seem to deter her optimism.
Great.
So, you're my driver. I'm Nellie. Well, Dr. Eleanor Reinhardt, technically, but please, Nellie's fine.
Name's Gia. So, doctor, huh?
That's right. My degree's in theoretical aethonics. I did my dissertation on Cherenkov radiation's impact on Aether particulate flux. Columbia, then NYU for postgrad. Such a gorgeous campus. Have you been?
Lady, I'm a criminal.
Can't say I have.
It's pretty close to the Helicline Institute of Aethonics. Olympus Park is what most people call it. Where I work. Or worked, anyway.
She fidgets with her big, overstuffed briefcase. Something about it bothers me.
Yeah, dude.
This isn't your average rich socialite clutching her purse in a rough part of town. She's clinging to it like a life raft.
I hope you don't mind me saying so, but you make quite a striking impression.
The girl's eyes sparkle with curiosity. She's a bright little thing. Smart, switched on. And she's doing an admirable job of hiding how scared she really is. Her voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper.
Are you really a smuggler?
That's a bad one. Yeah, we're not doing that. I'm gonna tell the truth.
Depends who's asking.
Smart?
Well, I am silly. How does one become a smuggler anyways?
By not asking about it.
Usually not by choice.
Wowzers.
Uh-huh. My car's this way. Come on.
I wanted to make something up. Yeah, but 18%, I ain't
Getting
doing
itchy
that.
feeling.
That's bad
Like
odds.
we're being watched. This whole thing has me off kilter. Like walking into a room without turning on the lights.
Glass birds and glass shoes, huh?
Zio always liked cabbies. Said they were useful. This is where he and I disagreed. Bet these platforms don't see many folks from the lowers. It's really something. Someday, I'll wake up to this every morning.
Buy tickets to lowers, stowaway to the ferry lowers. Let's see. We go back to Astoria Bay with him?
We step into my
Yo.
ride. I twist the ignition, and we set off. I catch the girl scanning the interior, her eyes taking everything in. So, where am I dropping you off? The lowers is pretty big.
Oh, anywhere, really. I'm sure I'll find my way where I need to.
That's really weird, dude.
There's only sincerity in that voice. Mr. Blanc wasn't kidding. This really is a babysitting job.
Ooh, what's that button do?
Don't touch it.
Yeah, don't press that.
Yeah, no. You're in a flying car. Don't touch anything. There's a Don't touch anything in a normal car.
Ah,
Right.
so it must be some type of modification. I bet it's a supercharger. They always have those in the comics. Oh, I know. It's an ejector seat. Wait, it's not for the passenger side, is it?
She's not even really talking to me. Her motor mouth is just spinning out of control. I've got to learn what the hell's going on with this easy transport.
Give her a quick once-over. Gumshoe. Shit. Wait, good. Victory.
The faint smell of ash fills the car. A spent handkerchief hides in her palm. Small Aether burns scar her fingertips. Not an ounce of luggage other than the case. Doc has something to hide.
I'm gonna guess she found some kind of really powerful scientific advancement, and there's someone who lives in the lowers that can help.
So where are you going, kid? Family? Friends?
Oh, no. I'm here all by myself.
Orphan.
Anywhere you planning on visiting? I'm not much of a tour guide.
That's my own business. Thank you.
Wow.
You're running from someone. By the looks of it, you barely got away. So, what's some pampered lab rat doing on the run? You steal something in that case of yours? The girl's shocked silent. Lies and half-truths run across her eyes, but none of them make the cut. I had her dead to rights.
Ooh.
Don't worry, kid. You're not the first with a story like that.
That's not my story. Well, not all of it. I didn't steal anything, I swear.
Thank you, Ilion. That's very nice of you.
She looks out the window, quiet and still. Last thing I need is some heights drama following me down here and ruining an easy payday. While we're talking, my eyes keep getting pulled to the rear view like it's a magnet. I can't shake the feeling we're not alone. I juke down a couple service paths and hop across an access junction. Sure enough, when we pop back onto street level, the same dark shape is lurking behind us. Hang on to something, kid. This might get bumpy. I pop open the hidden compartment under the dash and point to it. The girl catches on almost instantly, and there's only a moment of hesitation before she shoves her briefcase inside.
We can move around the... We can change our route. Okay. We're at the taxi platform and we need to go to the ferry terminal. And we get encounters along the way.
I catch a glimpse of the man tailing us. He's got the easy posture and the liquid metal smile of a seasoned killer. In the rear view, his eyes burn like ice above a jagged scar.
This is like Dungeons and Dragons Travel, where it's like, yeah, or like Cthulhu. Yeah, yeah.
No! How did he find me?
I love this.
Who?
Oh, God. Time you came home, darling.
Nellie? Who is that?
Looks like you found a little tour guide, Eleanor. Got no quarrel with you, smuggler. Pull over and you can drive away clean.
We can't, Gia. Please, we can't.
Don't worry, kid. Just keep your head down. This will be over soon.
Okay, enemy vehicles can be damaged by selecting a weapon and then an enemy vehicle to shoot. Each weapon can only be used once per turn. Hover over locations to preview your path. Click on a location to move there. Moving forward costs more than moving backward. You can combine attacks and movement by selecting an ability and then choosing a location to use it. Combat is dynamic. Look out for obstacles and lane changes that could damage or even destroy your vehicle, or use them to your advantage against enemies. Can we bump them? What is this? Shoot Gatling gun. That's a civilian, though. That's not that guy's fault. I'm gonna get out of the way. Just let the civilians be in the way. Yeah, body block him. No, it says civilian. It doesn't have to go like this. Yeah, see? That guy totally just honked his horn. Jesus. That's rude as hell. Got a minigun. Ram him. Eat it. Shotgun. We'll kill him. The civilians are like, what is that? Oh, we got obstacles. Ooh. Oh shit. Oh! Fool! What if we could just let him sit there, right? Okay, that didn't bump him out of the wall. Okay, we're good. Let's let him get hit by whatever that is gonna be. Because he's gonna be. The obstacle's coming.
Another notch on the dash.
Smushed.
I did it, Gia. He's gone.
That was too easy. We need to get off this island. Now.
I'm gonna be honest, I was kind of hoping he would explode. I was hoping it'd be a bomb. Combat is interesting. I wonder if I would have gotten anything negative for killing the civilians. Scrap metal. Alright. Everyone was hoping for it? Fair. Is that stutter? No, there's no stutter. None at all. Stop. All vehicles leaving Astoria Bay require an exit permit.
I got my papers. Verified this morning by...
All exit permits from before noon today are considered void. You have to acquire a new permit inside the terminal. That's odd.
Look, maybe there is some other arrangement we can reach. I flash a clip of greenbacks underneath my outstretched expired permit. The guard looks unimpressed. Damn upper snobs, too good for money.
And that may fly where you're from, but not up here. You have to get a permit like everyone else. Now move.
He waves me on, and I drive towards an open...
Oh, it just skipped forward.
People mill about, laughing in the sun, but something's off. The world feels grainy and sluggish, like I'm wading through sand. I need to keep the girl close.
Not a dark cloud in the sky or a black hat in the crowd. Well, my shoulders remain tense. Oh, interesting. We can, like, kind of barely look around just a little bit.
We're killing time in a sea of hard limbs, well-used pocket watches, and dull chatter, waiting for a permit. Bureaucracy moves slow in the uppers without the right type of love to grease the wheels.
Gia? Are you sure we can't take my briefcase? It's very important.
Better off out of sight than getting swiped in a pickpocket's hunting ground. See that? I nod and put a spotlight on an act I've played myself. A gal trips into a gentleman. The gentleman goes to help her. And the bag he's briefly forgotten about glides away in the hands of her partner.
Jeepers! Oh, that poor man. We should
do nothing. Right now, we keep our heads down and avoid bringing attention to ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look, no one's prying my stash open, and I've got an eye on the car. Besides, we'll be back in the Chimera in no time.
Right. What's the phrase? Staying low. I'm just worried because... Oh, Gia, look! Cotton clouds! Oh, I haven't had uppers candy in years.
The girl runs off.
Oh, it skipped again. I wonder why it keeps doing that. Might be a bug. So she ran off to go get cotton candy. I'm gonna call after her.
Don't wander off. She stops, but only long enough to shoot me a grin and a wave. An innocent invitation to come along.
No, mistake. God damn it.
The speakers call out names with far more cheer than they deserved. Dreamland, Nation's Crusade, and so on. None were ours. The vendor sculpts pink and blue clouds for passengers in search of a sweet souvenir. Nellie looks ready to buy out the whole stand. My neck itches at every careless shoulder bump and lingering eye. Nobody unusual, but the itch doesn't quit. The girl seems determined to stay obvious. We've still got time before the ferry leaves, but I growl as I give up my spot in line and beat feet after her. The girl's busy drilling the vendor about sugar to syrup ratios. I throw a look and she focuses on picking out a flavor. A stick of cotton later, I heard her back in line. Unfortunately, it hasn't moved. I let her get in a few sweet bites before I feed her something bitter. What did that scarred-up black hat want with you? Her face falls mid-bite. The pink cloud sags like a lead balloon.
Ooh.
I've thought of at least 5 different ways to explain it, but it's complicated. Usually I'd ask someone for advice, but he's not here.
Forcefully ask about the man chasing her. What does that mean? Let's find out. Let's roll not bad. Nope, we rolled bad. We failed to intimidate her.
You knew who that was. Why is he after you?
I don't know.
He almost ran us off the road and killed us both. Filled my car full of holes that your fee doesn't cover. Is that not enough to jog your memory? I press too hard and she shuts down in front of me. I'll have to ask her more later.
I really like that. The interaction wasn't just about the reaction of the other character. It was about your character doing it too forcefully. I like that. It's good
Look,
writing.
Kid, I got
really good
shot
writing.
at for you. I was told to expect a simple transport, and now I'm stuck looking over my shoulder. You owe me a whole lot more than it's complicated. What's in the case?
I'm sorry. You're right. And I'm sorry you got shot at. It's my research. It's very important, but I don't know why anyone else would want it.
I give her a side eye. I need the whole picture, but all I'm getting is an unfinished canvas.
It's the well.
What about it? So a bodega sign falls off and disappears every now and then. Neighborhood's already coming to pieces anyhow.
It's expanding. Getting bigger. Stronger. It's going to get bad, Gia. Really bad.
You're pulling my leg.
No! I swear, Gia! The car!
Oh. Alright. That's probably bad.
Minutes. I'd only taken my eyes off the car for a few damn minutes. Time stops long enough for me to catch the tail end. The glare of green lights, the lift of red-white metal, and the blur of a black hat. They took my car.
Gia! My research was in the car. What are we going to do?
We're going, now. Ferry's here. I know a place we can hide on board, but we gotta move.
But...
No buts, kid. Move. If they've got the car, we've got to assume they're on our tail.
Well, yeah, because I got your car.
We stick to the plan. Get to the lowers and hole up somewhere safe. After that, we're gonna figure out how you're getting my car back.
God damn it. It took my car. Nice. Got a level from that. That's good. I want to go Grease Monkey. Now that I don't have a car, I feel like this will really come in handy. You know, because I'm carless. It's sad. Yeah. Now my car will gain 1 HP every round, even though I have none. Feels bad. A lot more in the codex. The well. Not a soul in the lowers would tell you they want the well to stick around. Those gravitational shifts are a pain. But to say it's getting bigger, growing, might be something there. But this wouldn't be the first time the Heights sent some do-gooder down here to create a problem and act the savior. Now, what caused the well? That's the real question.
The hole is a barrenless refuge, rotting and hidden in a forgotten corner of the city. It offers sanctuary to every soul who finds freedom at the end of a gun or the bottom of a bottle. It is the safety of the shadows.
Oh, is this your hideout, Gia? It's like a pirate's cove or a raider's den.
More like a sinkhole. Watch your step, kid. You'll sooner run into a back alley mugger than a swashbuckler out here.
So, what's next? We need to formulate a strategy.
My place. I need a drink. And you need to finish explaining what the hell got my car stolen.
Yeah, she's not been very forthcoming. Cool apartment. Oh, we got a shotgun. Take it. Can't take the item. Why? Oh, it's because it goes on a car that we don't have. I don't like killing, but I do worse for smoke right now.
Finally, the first drop of real sunshine all day.
Alcoholic, smokes. Z always told me to have a way out. This old greenhouse has plenty of windows that offer that very service. Would hate to break one on a quick getaway, though. What'd you do here, Zio? Say the job's over, cut the girl and run? Would definitely save me from a headache. New York City's bigger than the world that holds it. A single filing cabinet couldn't contain it all, but I always found a way to keep it stocked with everything I need. Still have that new edition of BAM to read later. Comic books. While the Joneses have their gilded wallpaper, all I have is a head full of some days. Unfortunately, dreams don't provide much of a view when your eyes are open.
The way she holds herself is too bright for my apartment, too colorful. Everything feels smaller, the space between the shrinking walls taken up by her testimony.
I've been tracking growth patterns around gravitational anomalies. The well's always been an unusual case. It goes through the occasional spike and ebb, but it's always stabilized, eventually. My colleagues and I, were supposed to meet and discuss what to do about the well, but I was late. I would have been inside already if it hadn't been for Professor Gardner. He discovered something was wrong first. He tried to get me away, and because of me,
She trembles, leaving the unspoken sound of a falling body to echo off the walls.
There was an explosion. Everything burned so fast. I wanted to help, but Professor Gardner wasn't moving.
So they found out the well is growing and will kill everyone, and then someone blew them all up.
That's when I saw him. The black hat. And then he saw me. I ran as fast as I could. Didn't have time to take anything else but the notes I had on me.
That's a hell of a story. So a professional killer snuck into the Heights and blew up a building just to get his mitts on you and your research. And you have no idea why.
I truly don't. Please, you have to believe me.
Let's ask about the
Your
colleagues.
colleagues. Tell me about them.
They were brilliant scientists, Gia. All of them. And bright and hopeful. Together, we were going to discover a better world. Find the answers to...
She holds back the grief of roaming the room with her eyes, or by roaming the room with her eyes, latching onto every detail and yet ignoring every bit of it.
And they were kind. Alistair, Professor Gardner, especially. He always looked out for me. Even when I first showed up. A 16-year-old with a half-packed suitcase and too many questions. He always tried to help. Right to the end.
Yeah, the voiceover is amazing.
Your
dude.
kind have been coming down here for years. They do some tests, make a big spectacle of themselves, and conclude that it's mostly harmless. Nothing more than clouds or a bad storm.
That's the thing! It should be nothing more than a cloud or a storm. For crying out loud, it's not Jupiter's red spot. Something is causing it to persist and expand.
You're sure it's expanding?
If my work is correct, quickly.
It was just a pause, a moment where I hold back a lifetime of cynicism and disappointment. But she hears it like I'm filling the room with air raid sirens.
You live in a flying city, Gia. A city kept alive with technology so foreign 80 years ago that we'd be like gods to our grandparents. It's solvable.
You're in the lowers, as requested and paid for. What were you planning once you got here?
First, I thought I'd have to find a place to live, of course. I have some money,
The girl goes paler than the moon in a crystal bath. A moment of clarity, and a possible lifetime of hopelessness.
How are you going to hide wearing those clothes?
It was in my case. All of it. I have nothing.
She looks up
Yeah.
at me, eyes suddenly welling into baby blue pools that flood the dwindling room.
I don't have anyone I can ask for a loan. Everyone's... They're dead. All of them. He killed them. And now he's followed me here. He won't stop, will he? He's going to find me again. And I won't be able to fix the well, and...
Hey, kid, look at me. You're smart. You'll figure something out. You just... Listen. I'll talk to someone who could help, but I need you to focus. Those goons stole my car and your briefcase. And right now, you might be the only real lead I have.
What can I do? I told you everything I know.
Not everything.
Traveling incognito.
I don't get it. You're from Olympus Park. You got money. And you just leave without talking to anyone?
I needed to disappear quickly. Apparently, I'm not all that good at it. I didn't have time to pack. I took the first ferry I could find, and it left me in Astoria Bay. Fortunately, when I told a very nice officer I needed to get to the lowers, he referred me to Mr. Blanc.
Knowing Mr. Blanc, that referral didn't happen by chance. He's got eyes in every dark corner of the city. If a bird from the heights flew down on an air of mystery, he'd want to know why. He called you by your name. We're looking at someone who's done his research, or someone who's got something personal on you. Got any enemies up there?
No!
You sure? You didn't piss off some other brainiac with a better showing at the science fair?
No.
You running from family? Some bigwig who made a pass at you? Jilted husband?
I'm not. I've never been married. I don't have the time or the interest. But even if I did, I haven't had any gentleman callers. Or really met any gentlemen. Aside from Professor Gardner, of course, but he doesn't count. Not in that way.
Ask about Gardner.
This Professor Gardner's come up a few times. Who is he?
Oh, Professor Gardner, Alistair Gardner, was one of the first people recruited to the Helicene Institute. He's one of their spokesmen, too. He even oversaw my application. The other adjudicators were reluctant. Everyone else was so much more senior, and older, too. But Alistair fought for me. He called my skills and my desire for a better world a brilliant ambition. He helped look after me during my stay at Olympus Park. It helps that he supervised the lab that I worked in.
I'm going to hop on with the devs. Welcome. And if you guys want to introduce yourselves so chat can hear you, tell them who you are and what you do.
Absolutely. I'm Josh. I'm the product manager at Seismic Squirrel.
And I'm Tyler. I'm the narrative lead over here at Seismic.
That's fantastic. How many guys do you actually have at the studio in total?
Let's see. At Seismic Squirrel proper, I think it's like 24, 25, but we have a bunch of external companies that we're working with. So from everything from co-devs to marketing, there's quite a few more people with hands on the project.
That's fantastic. You guys are doing this all, you don't have a publisher, you're running this all like from your team. How did you guys get funding for all of this? What way did you end up doing that? Was it like a Kickstarter or something else?
So Seismic Squirrel is privately owned and internally funded from the owners.
That's fantastic. Okay, that's great. Hell yeah. No, I'm super down with that. That's one of the things that we always try and find out is like if you guys are all self-published and everything like that and it's fully funded internally, that's great. Yeah.
Yes, it allows for a lot more creative freedom and ability to make decisions without having a publisher looking over your shoulder.
Yep. Super agree with that. That's one of the things I was going to ask is like, what does it mean? Like, why did you guys go the route of no publisher? And it's one of the things I worry about all the time is, you know, when I'm talking to people, they're like, oh, should I go with a publisher? And I was like, do you know what you want a publisher to do? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then you don't need one. There's no reason.
If you don't know why you need a publisher, you probably need to take a step back and think about it.
Yeah, exactly. Some people see it as like a badge of honor, like you need it to be a real dev. And I'm like, no, you don't. Don't do that. They should be there to do something for you, and they will almost always cost more than they give. A lot of the time.
Well, I mean, yeah, we got really lucky. When it comes to creative freedom from, you know, Josh will talk about all the business type stuff, you know, boring spreadsheets. From a narrative and like writing standpoint, creative standpoint, it really gave us the ability to, you know, create a vision and just run at it and take chances and oftentimes, you know, fall on their face, but then get back up, not be closed down, learn from that mistake and do something else. Keep going. Yeah. So we've been quite fortunate to have a setup for that.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about inspiration here. What made you guys want to build this game?
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but BioShock may or may not have been an inspiration there. I think the big reason for me, so when we started working on this game, the narrative team was composed of me, and I was told to go figure out the story, go sit in your little gremlin basement, write up a handful of pitches. I came out with like 9 different ideas that could all fit the parameters we were going for. Most of them not great. The one that really sticks out is there's this whole Victorian-esque Frankenstein's monster like car hop dating sim that was like a 2 a.m. idea, but we ultimately decided on this. And where that came from was we knew that we wanted to do a turn-based tactical game with cars, and I was like, okay, well, cool, we have cars, great, awesome. how do we make that different, exciting, interesting? Let's make them flying cars. Okay, cool, flying cars, whoop-de-doo. But like, we want them to look cool. So what's the coolest looking cars? Well, 1930s, right?
Yep.
In 40s. Like those cars just look cool.
They look
Awesome.
so
Now,
cool, dude. Like people who
they
restore
do.
cars from that period, they're amazing looking. They're works of art on wheels, man. No, I super agree with that.
Oh yeah, my grandpa used to restore cars and go to car shows. I remember one time he's like, "Okay, we're gonna go to this car show. It's not that big. Tell you what, if we win, I'll let you keep the trophy." I love my grandpa to death, but when he surprisingly actually did win Best in Show, he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna hold on to this one."
That's funny.
It was a really big trophy. He was quite proud of it.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
so from narrative standpoint, I've been given, okay, we're having a car combat game with flying 1930s cars. Narrative, make a world that make sense. And so my job was to look at of like, okay, what storytelling, what world building is necessitated by that origin, right? Okay, if cars are flying in the 1930s, what's the timeline? What's the technology that creates that? And then we settled on the technology that existed, and they're like, what's the society that builds off of that? So it was a lot of so this, then what, type of thing. So that's a lot of what it came, like how it built out. But when it comes to like the aesthetic and like gameplay and storytelling influences, I mean, like, yeah, BioShock, we wear that on our sleeve quite quite freely. But there's a whole bunch of like futurist architects from the era that were just like, these guys were great. Let's just take this stuff and build from it.
Now, making cars like this within a turn-based setting, now that was a problem we banged our head against the wall for like a few years on, because the requirements, like the goal going into the experience was like we want it to feel fast, we want it to feel like a car chase, like mobster. Like how do you do that with vehicles in a turn-based setting? So we have done everything from like roguelite, real time with pause, till we finally settled on what it is now with the moving background, which I feel like we've definitely hit our marks with kind of the experience goal of making it feel fast paced, making the cars feel like a constantly moving battle, but also turn based.
Yeah, no, it felt really good. The combat did. It was. I also really liked the idea of dynamic obstacles coming up. Like you have to do lane changes and things like that, and that felt really nice. And I ended up winning the encounter because the enemy decided, oh, I'm going to move into that area, and there's a wall now, which I thought that was quite funny. But things like that are really interesting to me because it is rather unique combat, and I'm used to. I guess the first thing that I would think of when I think car-based combat is kind of like Mad Max. So seeing that as like a deco punk 1930s is rather new, right? Like I don't think I've seen that really with like a car vehicle combat game, so that's really interesting. So with that in mind, you guys kind of set up the setting first. You were like, we want 1930s flying cars, and then you built the world out from there. What was the process for creating like characters like this? Do you guys create the problem first and then try to populate that with characters, or did you design characters first and then give them meaning?
Take it away, Tyler.
Oh yeah, that is that's quite a question. Yeah. So my background is in history and research, and so going into this game, one thing that I love doing was just reading about time and the era and nerding out about it constantly. And so, I mean, it might have been a touch backwards, but we created a whole bunch of characters by reading history, of plucking people out of history and being like, this is awesome, this is great, I want to use this person in some way. And we kind of use that to populate the world. For example, one of the first villains that you're gonna meet in White Street is General Eli. His historical basis is that when forever ago, end of the 19th century, New York was up to your knees in sewage, right? It was gross, it was disgusting, and
so nothing's changed. I see.
Well, you know what? We love the people of New York, and you should play our game. So I'm not gonna.
Big cities. I used to live outside of LA, so it's like anytime I'm in a big city, I'm like, I don't want to be here, man. Like it's so grim. Yeah.
Well, I mean that definitely comes through in our world is quite grim at times. But this character, New York decided like we need to clean this up. So they hired a colonel from the Spanish American War, and Colonel Waring, and they're like, just fix it up, do whatever you have to do, make the city clean. So what he effectively did is created a paramilitary force known as the White Wings. They had stark white uniforms, white helmets. They had very sturdy brooms, and they block by block took over the city from private groups who cleaned and residents that didn't want city workers in their neighborhood, and had to actually claim the city so that they could clean it. It got really big. They had a good relationship with the president of the United States. They got special funding from the government to have their own resort town. And they had their own anthems and music that they produced, and they were like this really big deal. And so all that to say, this guy was larger than life. His story was wild. We're like, that feels stranger than fiction that a paramilitary group was cleaning up New York City. That is the perfect type of thing that we'd want to write stories about, and it fits in our world. So we imagined a version of that character's story of what if, instead of having to, based off of politics or whatnot, fade into obscurity, if you gave him his own island in the sky, how would he shape society, right? How would his principles determine how people lived, how their culture, how they made money, how they interacted diplomatically with other islands, how their philosophy would grow and spread? And that same type of idea is where we copied, which with each 3 faction that you interact with, is we pulled somebody from history and I was like, what does their world look like? So that's me nerding out about it. I could go on for a very long time, but there's the short answer.
I actually have a photo here of the White Wings, and you can see the background horses. And this is the group you were talking about. I've got it shown up on stream right now. That is a piece of history I didn't know anything about. 1890, apparently. That's wild. So yeah, they had this whole group that would go through and clean the city block by block, and that was at a time where you saw horses in the street in New York very regularly, because it's the end of the 1800s. That's wild. That is completely
quite
interesting.
Make it in the demo, but you'll be coming up shortly on basically the White Street faction, which is influenced by these guys.
That's very cool. Yeah, no, that's super cool. I love that. I love that you guys took a historical influence for that. That's very, very interesting. And now I've learned something cool about New York, right? But yeah, no, I grew up in just outside of LA and in Southern California, and I don't know, man. I moved out to the middle of nowhere now in a rural area, and I'm so much happier. Living in a city is rough. It's gross, man. Oh, I feel like that'd be like
I'm always a romantic, which influences a lot of the writing in the game. Is that I grew up in a more rural area, and so every time I go to a big city, my eyes get wide, and I'm like, this is beautiful and amazing and disgusting, but romantic, capital R romantic still. And I let it take me away. We had this big trip to New York, and we got to explore around. And I will say, going through New York is not as scary as Law and Order makes it out to be.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not scary.
Was that what you were worried about when we were in New York?
Yeah, man. We walked through Central Park at midnight, and I'm like, this is it. This is the end. It's over. But
no, it's not that scary. I mean, the biggest thing about it is I think wherever you grew up, you probably want the opposite. Is really how it goes. So if you grew up in rural and you want to see the city, that makes complete sense. There are some really beautiful cities out there too, honestly, especially in certain areas. But yeah, New York is very pretty. And I don't know. I think it just changes scenery at some point. And it happened to me kind of later on as I moved to Colorado for a year, and then I moved back to California, and I was like, I got to get out of here. Because I saw nature for once, and I was like, wait, there's weather that exists. It's not just summer all the time. I got to go, man. Yeah, so I feel that.
I would say that's fair, because we go down to GDC in San Francisco every year, and the romantic feeling isn't as strong in San Francisco.
After your 4th or 5th time, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, So
the one thing I will say that cities have that rural areas don't is the variety of food. There is so much you can get at any time of day, any food you want, any culture. It's so good. That's what I miss from SoCal. That's about it. So moving on to this, I'm one of the things that's like a very powerful driver in this game so far is the voice acting. Where did you guys get the voice acting? Are those people internally? Is that like did you contract somebody? How did this happen?
So we work with a company called Edge Studio,
Hmm.
and we went through hundreds and hundreds of auditions to narrow down the picks to who we have now. I believe we have well over 100 characters, each one voiced. Um, we're running, I just did the numbers. We have about 380,000 words in the
Wow.
game, and I think counting. We'll see. But yeah, all of it's going to be fully voiced. So we put a lot of effort into the voice actors, them understanding the characters, and really nailing down the feel for each of them.
Oh wow, these guys have worked with a whole lot of different companies too. You've got like advertisements and corporations and video games and all kinds of stuff. I don't think I've heard of them either. I'm gonna link them in chat so you guys can find them. Yeah, the voice acting is incredible, actually. It really adds a lot to the game, and I think that's fantastic. And I'm interested too, is like in a situation like that, when you're working with a third party and you're working with them, if you guys want to do something later, like add a DLC or anything like that, do you have everything in place so that you don't have to change a voice actor out? And like you know exactly, like do you have everything handled just in case this pops off, so that you're able to keep that same character in the game with the same actor?
For adding additional lines post launch and for
Yeah.
any like DLC plans, we're wanting to bring back the voice actors for each of the
Yeah.
characters.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's really good
We
news.
should be set up, and also, I mean, to shout out here, besides being phenomenal actors, they're also the nicest people, and I like to brag about them every time because we're stuck in a virtual booth for 4+ hours. We had some like 8-hour sessions the other day, and like that would be miserable with people that suck. But we are so lucky that every time we work with these people, they are kind, they're caring, they collaborate, they work on the lines with us. They're like, hey, I'm not sure my character should be working this way or talking this way. And we're like, oh, hey, nice catch. And let's talk about it. Let's workshop the line. And they're just so pleasant to be around. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate them.
We'll be probably in January post holidays, but we'll be doing a voice actor promo video where it's a little bit of the behind the scenes of the voice actors and who's doing each of the characters.
That's a really cool thing to do, honestly. I think people would really very much so enjoy that because they're breathing very large amounts of life into these characters. You can tell that they enjoy working on them. You know, you could tell from the lines, the way that they're delivered. They feel very good, you know, and
Well, I
that's
think
it's
the
tough to get
voice
done.
actor for Gia, she's at a point where she's correcting us on the writing because she understands the character so well.
There you go. See?
Yeah, stay on top of it.
That's pretty good though, honestly. It's like having people that are that passionate about it. That's quite good. Looking through this. So you guys don't have a release date yet. You just have 2026. Are you feeling confident about that? Is there anything that you're worried about in that timeline? Anything at all?
Well, there's always things to be worried about in a development
Yeah.
timeline. But the goal is right now we're going to be releasing early 2026. So everybody is heads down right now. I mean, the game's all in. It's just a matter of bug fixes and polish to make sure that it's good to go and get shipped.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Asking indie devs if they're worried about the launch.
Of course I ask.
We are always worried. I mean, like Josh just said, 380,000 lines. He has to deliver that information because I start breaking down if I think about it too much.
Mhm.
It's a lot of material, and
Yeah.
I think that the team's the writing team, especially speaking for them, just all very passionate for it. So I think the worries always, are these characters going to land? Is the plot going to make sense? Are the missions playing how they were intended? Are we hitting the experience? Like there's a million different questions. I think, you know, the whole thing that we had to tackle actually recently was like, hey, we're doing all these bug fixes and changes, and you know, can we do this without the exporter breaking, so to make sure that everything gets in? And so like, hey, is the tech holding up to make sure that the game actually comes together? So indie studio where everybody is chipping in, working out. We're all wearing multiple hats and all caring about stuff. It's constant worries. But when the game, I've been told by our creative director, you'll sleep for like a month when the game comes out, and then you won't feel like dying. So
Well, you won't sleep for the first month after it comes out, and then you'll sleep for a month after that because you're going to be
we'll just
in
be glued
bug
to the
fix.
wish lists and.
How are you guys doing on wish lists for this right now, by the way? Because what you've built is really fantastic. It's really phenomenal. I'm very impressed with the quality of it overall, and I'm interested to know how well has this been received and seen by people out in the world.
It's been received pretty well. I think last time I checked, we're close to, I think, 45,000 wish lists. But obviously, we need to get those numbers up before launch. But everybody's kind of in a relaxed, distant state because of the holidays, so not expecting much for the rest of the year.
Let's see if we can fix that. Hey, chat, go wishlist this game. Every time you wishlist something like this, it's free for you, and it tells Steam that Steam's going to make more money off of it, so they show it to more people. Do that. Wishlist it. They put a huge amount of effort into this. It's wild. Already done? Hell yeah. Good job.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that's one of the things a lot of people don't realize, and it's what we've brought up all throughout Indiecember, is that when you wishlist a game, it is like upvoting a video on YouTube. It tells Steam, it triggers to Steam, hey, there's a lot of wish lists going in on this. We stand to make a lot more money if we show this to more people because it's doing well. Let's show it to more people. And they will actually, start putting it out on things, and third parties start picking it up because of that. Because it starts to start that wave, the tidal wave for the game.
I did not realize until I started getting into marketing and like this stage in game development how much impact upvoting a YouTube video, adding a comment, or even just wish listing a game on Steam, it makes a very large impact for the content creators and the game developers, because it signals that you appreciate the game, but also just how it affects the algorithm and getting those views. So for a indie game, hitting those first 10,000 20,000 wish lists are the most difficult numbers to hit, and then it becomes easier as you get closer to that 100,000 mark. But
yeah, it's one of the things
I did not see early on.
It's something that we've pretty dispelled among the whole community now, which is the old phrase of a good game sells itself. It doesn't. You do. You guys sell the game. By wish listing it, by telling people about it, you carry any media that you enjoy. 100%. People don't realize how much power they have over what lives and what dies in the marketplace, and they really
quite
really
a bit of power. It's all in the player's hands.
Yep, 100%. I love these right here. I'm looking just through the scenes, the kind of just slow parallaxing scenes that you have with some of these characters throughout the game. It's beautiful. I'm interested in sort of that art style of you guys creating that. How did that come to be? Because it feels like a storyboard. It feels kind of like an animatic sort of it feels really, really nice. And I don't see that a lot with types of games like this. Usually just, I guess, point-and-click adventure games will have that, and there's a little bit of point-and-click elements in this, but it's not very common. So what made you guys want to build that? The scenes just having kind of like the characters sliding in and the kind of parallaxing behind that instead of fully animated.
Oh, man, the art journey that we have on this is something else. So when we wanted to put this together, we played around with a lot of different visual styles. At one point, we're like, "Hey, what is if we did 1930s, but in Hades, art? What does that look like?" And we're like, "Wow, that's cool." But we started with looking at pulp comics from the era, 1930s comics, and comics and sci-fi magazines. And from there, we brought in a team of artists, and we're like, "Hey, let's play with this." And we built something based off of what our artists' interpretation of 1930s and 40s pulp comics and sci-fi magazines. So that's a lot of where we pulled from. And then there's little influences here and there when it comes to specifics, right? There were a lot of architecture magazines we pulled from, Bioshock and whatnot. We have a fantastic art director. Gary has been leading the team to kind of put this all together. And um, one thing from a writer's point of view, which I didn't think about until working on it with him, is that there are so many different actual art styles that have to be consistent, right? Because we have the map, we have the combat scene, we have the UI, we have the characters, we have the room backgrounds, all which have to have their own kind of flavor and different purpose or intention, but they still have to vibe together. And that was difficult, but we ultimately we wanted this to be a pretty thing to look at. So, if anything, that was our guiding star.
That's fantastic. I didn't even get the reference to like original comics back then. That actually fits quite a lot, like old spy comics and old like kind of, I don't know, investigator comics. That's quite cool. I dig that. I dig that a lot, actually. Because the art style is very striking. The voice acting is very striking. The environment is quite cool. And, your guys' combat system is really interesting and fresh. It's nice. I think overall it's just like it feels very cohesive, right? Like everything kind of works together. It all feels incredibly polished. That's why the moment we started showing it off in stream, people in chat were like, wait, this is an indie game? This is wild. Like they could tell immediately the way that it felt good. So,
Well, I mean, Josh, again, being business guy, it's like, yeah, wish list equal numbers equals game successful. And I can say from the writing team's perspective, people paying attention and wish listing is like a breath of fresh air when we're all stuck on these long days, making this stuff work, doing fixes, and hearing other people be like, hey, that thing you've dedicated your life to for the past several years, it's actually not terrible. It's like, it's nice.
Just honestly, just wait. I think when the game comes out, you'll feel a lot better because what you're doing here is very, very high quality and feels really good and feels unique. It's not like other games that I've played inside of this genre, and it all comes together quite well.
I noticed a chap saw the composer reveal with the orchestra. I just wanted to do a quick shout out, Christopher Tin and Alex Williamson. Baba Yetu was played on repeat because Civ 4 was one of the first games that I played when I was younger and it got me into video games. So
really?
It was definitely a moment that I'll look back on fondly when we actually brought Christopher Tin onto the project, and he's working with Alex Williamson.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome, actually. They want to know, when can we buy this score? Are you guys putting out an OST with this? Are you planning to? You should.
That is the plan, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. I also loved the idea of customizing the car. I saw this in the trailer, even though I didn't get to it in game. The depth on that is wild. Like, the idea of being able to switch out different components of the car and make it so that the car actually looks different and has different powers, and, like, that's bonkers to me. So
we wanted to add a level of complexity, but not overkill. Like, we still want just your mid-core gamer to enjoy the game without it becoming excessive, not a spreadsheet or a mechanic simulator. So we have inventory as well with like slot sizes, but we're not going Tarkov when it comes to that either.
Yeah, I saw that kind of in your stash, the different individual slots for that. Are they shaped like Tetris blocks, like old Diablo style? Like, okay, that's cool. I dig that. I always liked that. I know it's kind of weird, but it's like one of those things where I like the Tetris block inventory. I never liked just the only grid base. So that's kind of cool. I dig that.
It kind of adds that immersion of like different objects have different sizes that you need to consider. So like when you're trying to fit a large object into the back of your car, you're going to have to rearrange it a bit so it fits.
Yeah, these are the animatic scenes that I was talking about. These are just beautiful. Like, they're so well done, and they're simple looking, but incredibly well executed. And by simple looking, I mean they're simple in terms of animation, of like you just have like a very large object kind of moving over a background, but it looks and feels so good in that. I love that. Yeah, really, really do.
We got a killer art team hard at work, and just our character artist, Mika, our artist, Chloe, adding cats everywhere in the game that you can find. Just a lot of work and passion going into this from the art team.
Yeah, so I mean, shout out to our creative director, too. We'll give the art team all their credit, for sure, but Dwayne Stinnett who has kind of led the team, both narrative and art and music, in order to kind of bring this cohesive vision. His direction really went a long way in building these scenes, composing them, making sure that they're working properly.
So let's talk a little bit about progression in this. You guys have a lot of different abilities that are available in here. They all seem really, really good. Like this one, sabotage that makes it so enemies have to move backwards on the start of their turn, which is cool because they're slowing down as their car overheats or gets, their engine fails. This kind of stuff is amazing to me. Is this something that I can farm at some point in the game, or is the game always moving forward and there's a limited number of encounters?
Yeah, it moves forward. There's a limited number, and the reason we decided to do that, there's two kind of parts of it. One is scope. That's the biggest one. Is we tried to do a kind of farming mechanic where there's endless number of encounters that you can go and find. Unfortunately, as we were building it out, we weren't able to make it in depth enough to feel worth it to the player, and that actually feeds into the second one. Is narrative is very very forward in this game, and we wanted things to feel catered to a specific experience. Like you get to play through this story, and we would cut things that weren't feeling catered, that weren't feeling intentional. And so the way that we wanted the farming to work was in a way that made it feel like it wasn't just tacked on, that you weren't just farming or grinding for its own sake, but there is some narrative purpose, reason, world explanation to make that work. And it just got too big. So when it comes to the combat progression that we have through the game, each combat's been handmade in order to fit the narrative context and to kind of fit what's going on. Our combat designer Elric is fantastic guy, and he's worked really hard to make sure that narrative is being reflected in the combats that he's built. And we've been very fortunate to have his desire to make the story come through in cars shooting each other. So that was really cool.
I also love how cinematic the kind of car fight is. Like, I'm looking through all these different abilities and realizing how wild the maneuvers it can be, right? Because with your shotgun, you only shoot out of one side, right? However, this thing's called bootleg turn. You flip a 180 in the middle of the street while driving down the street, and then you can use your shotgun on the other side. And that's just neat, right? It's called bootleg turn. And I love the idea of that, where, like, you can modify how that car can even function based on these abilities, not just like, I do an extra damage. Some of them are, this completely changes how the car plays, and I love that. I just think that's very, very cool.
The bootleg turn, also, again, shout out to our combat designers who did their own research into how cars operate at the time and these types of maneuvers. That the bootleg turn is based off of actual documentation of bootleggers doing that particular type of maneuver, and it was named after them. So it's that the team overall really does care about kind of finding the history, and obviously there's going to be limits to how far we can go with that, but it is always something top of mind of like, hey, what can we pull from real life in order to influence and build something that feels genuine and authentic.
Well, I just learned a new thing. I did not know that the bootleg term was actual
thing.
Historical reference. Just looked it up.
Yeah, no, I'm looking it up right now. That's wild. Silly car tricks, like. Oh man, that's awesome. Like, I super dig that. So I've got a very difficult question, and I'd like to hear you guys' take from both of you. I'm gonna make you call your baby ugly. What do you think your game does the worst?
Does the worst?
Do the job interview approach. It just tries too hard. No.
No, I'm trying to give my honest response.
It could be something small. It could be something big. It could be something that you feel is bad, but players don't care about. Whatever you want it to be. Every dev's answer is different. I love that about this.
Probably. So my honest response, if I'm just being straightforward, I wish that we had more choices. And I think that's definitely something we'll be continuing to improve on post-launch. We do have quite a bit of choices in the game. but due to scope and due to just the scale of the game and having to get it out within a certain time, I wish there was more. But I mean, that may just be me as a player. I always like having a ton of choices, but I'd say that is probably my honest response.
Fair. Yeah, no, that's completely fair.
With my
I
player
think
hat on, not my dev hat on.
anytime you have any type of choice mechanics, it's always like, man, I wish there were more. And I totally feel that. There's always a point where it's like, I don't know if we can add more there. It's too many.
See, the thing is, adding choices, like, you don't realize it as the player necessarily, but like once you get into the dev side, like choices are a ton of work. Just even
Yes.
adding some choices, like the amount of work that scales off of it is like huge.
You have all of the art, you have all of the dialogue, you have all of the scenes that you actually have to build,
Yep.
and in your case, you have all the voiceover for every single one of those different
Oh, yeah.
choices, and then you have to weigh the fact that some players are never going to see that scene ever, and you still have to give them context that makes sense for the rest of the game. Yeah, choices are rough.
Oh,
I get
well,
it.
and I mean too of I think where a lot of the I guess the worst things are going to be I'm looking at the amount of limbs cut from the game that oh man were really cool. There's quite a few different like side quests that we loved that were just really cool that we had to remove and leaves a handful of gaping wounds. Like no one else is gonna see where those are, but it's just like, oh man, that would have been great to put in there. There is a mechanic that unlocks after Act 2 or when Act 2 starts, where you get to work or manage your heroes, and we had a lot more story content built into that mechanic because how it works right now is you unlock your heroes and then Act 2 you get to go to a place to interact with them, learn more about who they are, their backstory, what makes them tick, how the heroes interact with each other, make some choices to determine kind of how they feel in the moment, and whether or not they're feeling great about supporting you or if they are more begrudging about it. And we had a really, really grand plan for how these would interact with the story and the world. And when it came down to putting them in, we just had to be more realistic and cut those down. So we still have a good foundation in there. And if I was able to come back to it and kind of build it out more, I would. So I guess, yeah, the game's full of scars, and I hate to have been the one to cut her up, but
You gotta.
that's where we're at. Yeah.
With that in mind, what do you guys think your game does the best in this genre? Like, how is it advancing the genre that you've fallen into here? You've got a lot of different components that actually touch a lot of different genres. So where do you think it shines the most?
I would say that what our game does that a lot of games, I guess, similar to ours is one, we put a lot of focus into the art to visually bring this game to life. A lot of effort into the voice acting. There was a massive difference in when we were doing external play tests and when it was just reading through it and the ratings we got versus once the voice acting was added, and it just went up astronomically. Like, so that was a massive difference because, like, for me as a player, like reading through games, like, yes, I can get into it if it's a really good story, but like if a game has voices, it changes it.
Yes,
fundamentally.
Very much so.
And then adding the car combat, it's not necessarily going to be for everyone, but I think we have a very unique twist on like turn-based combat that makes it very unique. And I mean, it's 2025, about to be 2026. It's very hard to come up with unique mechanics and something that is original at this point. But I think we definitely have a blend of mechanics in the turn-based setting that makes us stand out.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think it is very hard to come up with unique mechanics, but I'm thinking about it, every game I've ever played, and I don't think anything plays like the turn-based like what you guys have here in the cars. I cannot think of another game that feels the same way at all, which is quite cool. I think it's really interesting, especially playing around with the power of the car. So like as an engine fails, they pull backwards on the map. You know, usually what you'll have is you'll have like either height mechanics and like you disable the enemy unit in some way so we can't go up or down height mechanics, but not sliding backwards on a freeway, right? Like that's a very different kind of a feel, and it does feel unique. It's quite interesting. I dig that.
See, I guess I gotta stump my own writing team here. Is that when we were looking at this, with all the games that come out, and there's so many games that are just amazing, and I think what we really wanted to do, well, this is the story that I like to tell, is that when I first played BioShock, I was younger, and I played for a few hours, and I put the game down, and I didn't pick it up for probably close to a decade.
Oh, shame.
I know. But over that time, what happened was the story, those first couple hours lived rent-free in my head. And I played in that sandbox. I made up my own stories, and I lived in a world that I'd only got a glimpse at. And I think what we wanted to do here was to provide something similar. Was it Steam or somebody came out with that study recently that said people only buy an average one game a year, right?
Yeah.
And people's time is precious, and even people that buy multiple games, like I have not finished Baldur's Gate, and I hope someday I will. But
don't worry, you never will. There's a billion rats. Like there's no finishing that game.
There's no way. I tell myself it's the lie that keeps me going. Yeah. But if what we can do for people that only play, let's say they only have time to play the demo, or they watch you play or somebody play a little bit, and suddenly they feel inspired to have an entire world play out in their head, so that when they're falling asleep or taking a shower or tired or writing their own thing, that they can imagine the fantastic world that me and my team put together. I think it's something that goes beyond the game, and while it's definitely sappy and romantic and it doesn't fill the bank account, I think that's what I feel like we've taken steps to get there, and I hope that's what more people feel. So there's my answer, my romantic answer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense completely. So I'm really interested in what have you guys learned throughout the process of creating this game? If you could pass on any knowledge, maybe to your younger self or maybe to other developers, things that you've learned that you'd love to share.
Oh, that list would be so long.
Yep, it always will be.
Let's see. Making games is hard. Very hard. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of balls in the air. There's so much of a blend between the creative aspect and the business side, because you have to, like, you're making a game and like there's that passion that goes into it, but then it also has to do well so you can make more games in the future. So many different people, backgrounds, development, career types, just all of that coming together to make something that ultimately players will appreciate and play. And juggling all that has been quite difficult, challenging, and very rewarding ultimately.
It's awesome.
Okay, so to start with, I have this hereditary condition I inherited from my dad that I tell long stories to make short points.
I mean, it's your job to tell long stories, so I think it works out.
Yeah,
you're the narrative guy, so yes.
I think a couple of things. So there's kind of two buckets in my head of lessons that I've learned. There's the ones that when you're in the middle of something and they're very context specific, and you're like, when X happens, this is how you respond. Lots of those things. And which I don't wish to take up too much time explaining the context to explain the lesson. I think when it comes to like the most basic stuff, the most basic lessons I've learned from the beginning of my career, I think the first one is ideas are cheap. And what I mean by that is that when I first started off, like 7 years ago, I was a contract writer at Seismic, and there was me and a group of guys. We were at college. We're like, hey, let's go write for video games. And the first step was pitching an idea, and then if the idea was good enough, it'd be bought, and we would write for it. And there's this one guy that I worked with, or that I was with, that was also a writer, and he, every time he'd write something up, it was good, it was solid, and he would say, I want to hold on to this for later. I want to do something else with this. And he'd write something new, and then he'd hide that away. And when I watched that, I realized he was so precious about the ideas that they weren't going to go anywhere. It was never going to be bad enough to sell to somebody, but good enough to be worth selling to somebody. And it was something clicked in my head of that, because after that I was like, okay, let me go generate ideas, and I wrote down all these ideas for stories, and I was like, this is the easy part, right? Coming up with all this type of thing, and I can't be precious about it. And I think that goes into kind of the bigger lesson, and what if anyone's listening to some guy talk about their lessons in dev, is that humility is absolutely paramount. Humility to know that your ideas aren't the best in the world, that sometimes they die, and you got to move on, and you got to put yourself out there constantly in order to find that pickup. And you can't get angry when somebody trashes it or turns it down, because there's a million ideas out there. So I think, yeah, humility and that ideas are cheap is what I would say of kind of one of the biggest lessons that I learned going into video games. I don't know if that was that coherent. Was that coming together,
No,
making
it was
sense?
100%. Yeah, it's totally. I mean, it's rambly, but it's a good kind of rambling, right? Like it should.
Well, thank you.
I got out of it. You care, and there's a lot of different things that you've learned, and it all makes sense to me. So, like, no, you're good. Yeah, 100% good. Well, we are almost at time. Is there anything you guys want to leave the community with? Anything you want them to know about the game, or about what you guys are doing, or timelines, or anything? And I think we've only got like maybe one more question after that.
So I'll do a quick. I know there's a lot of questions coming in, so I just wanted to let everybody in chat know. We do a live kind of AMA seismic Aether hour on Wednesday afternoon. So if you have any questions, hop into our Discord and post them. We record the videos, so we also post the videos usually about a week later. But we're doing our best to answer all your questions about the game, the project, or just anything in general. If you have something that interests you or would like to know more about, we're doing that every Wednesday afternoon. So feel free to join us. And if you have any requests, we are going to be getting different team members into that to answer questions. So we've had our art director jump in, and he did some art live. We brought in Chaos Theory, our co-devs down in Australia, to answer questions, but just want to let everybody know that's something we're doing.
I linked out your guys' Discord all over the channel, so if you guys are interested in the game, definitely join that. So I think the last question is, and this is always a hard one, if you guys don't have an answer, that's okay, there's no problems. Do you have a price in mind? And if you would like to ask chat how much they would pay for it, a lot of devs do that as well, just to get kind of a feel for what they've seen and how much they think
we're running external tests right now, where I mean that's kind of my area of business, is getting a feel for like what players would be paying for this. Kind of going into this as a player, I don't appreciate how outrageously priced some games have become. So the price is not locked down yet. We will do that as we get closer to the actual launch of the game, but it's definitely going to be a balance of ensuring that players are not having to pay much, but also accounting for just what we're having to pay for marketing, game development, and ensuring the company is funded for future games. So just know that that is very much in mind when deciding the price.
Chat is saying $20 to $30 on their end, if that helps in any way. A lot of people
appreciate it, chat. I'll be going
more
through and looking at this quite thoroughly.
Yeah. I'd pay a fate point. Wow.
Ooh.
That's a price. I also saw you guys have a lot of different localizations for this, at least in the interface. I know that full audio in every localization would be nigh impossible. The cost of that would be astronomical. Like that's outrageous.
So it will be full VO in English. And I believe as of now, we're also going to be doing Japanese VO. We will be doing multiple languages for text translation. And after launch, we'll be making decisions on which additional languages will continue with full VO, but we're wanting to make sure that the care and quality that we've done with the English version is done in any localization that we do as well.
Yeah, and for anybody in chat who doesn't understand, like, the localization process is not one-to-one translation. You have to localize all of the humor, all of the setting, all of the jokes, everything have to make sense in the target culture as well. So when you have a joke that's like, the door is jammed, it's not even strawberry in English, that works because jam and jam are the same word, right? But you can't do that in Brazilian Portuguese because that same word is not the same between those two. So you have to come up with a completely new joke that works based on that culture. Now do that across the whole game.
Which makes it interesting for 1930s wording and references for localization. Definitely a challenge.
Yeah,
there've been so many idioms that we get a question from our localizer and are just like, what on earth could this possibly mean? And of course, the phrase is like blanking on exactly, like button man. Right, of like, it's a hitman, and they're like, what do you? But why though? I don't know.
Yeah, why is it called a button man? Yeah,
yeah. And so it's, but I think I've one final call out in regards to language here is when you were playing the demo. There's a handful of times that we threw in terms, right, such as a soul gets grounded, which in world is like being thrown off an island.
I understood it being thrown down below. Yeah.
And one thing that was really important to us is that if in the same way that gameplay necessitated world necessitates language. And one thing that was really big for us was like, okay, what were the type of things that people would say? How would they talk? How would that change? How would different groups of people arise, and what would be their form of speech in this world? And so there's a lot of terms like that kind of flow from the world, which gave Loke a bit of a nightmare. But they've been fantastic and rolling with the punches and making it work, even if there's been a few times where they've just looked at us with their one eyebrow all the way up. So,
I wanted to call out, I think you guys did an absolutely fantastic job at that right there specifically, because I immediately understood what grounded meant in the game, because we were inside of an environment that had a glass floor, and they're like, yeah, this is the greatest spot in the city to get to watch when a soul gets grounded, that kind of a thing. And I was like, oh, that's when they throw them off the island. Like, you get to watch them fall. And I was like, that's a really cool way to show the local slang in a video game in an environment that is not, a fantasy environment. Otherwise, you can't show slang. You have to show context for slang, and I just thought that was really interesting. And that's the other thing, too, is when you're localizing, you have to think about regional slang, too, which complicates everything even more.
We could spend a whole hour talking about localization and how difficult that is.
Oh, yeah. I deal with it a lot. It's a whole heck of a thing. We had some problems early on in Brazil because we had some phrases that made sense in all of Brazil except for one part of Brazil in which that part was slang. And it was not great slang. Yeah. It's like, oh man. Stuff like that. It's just like rough, dude. But that's how it goes.
No. We've had a few of those where it's like, hey, so I know this is perfectly innocent, but like,
but this one area, it's not so perfectly innocent. Yeah, this one part of the world, you gotta move it. Well, with all of that in mind, is there anything you guys want to leave chat out with? Anything at all you want to tell them?
Appreciate the questions. Appreciate the support. It means quite a bit to us as developers.
Yeah, and if you've got any additional questions, as I've shown today, I'm more than happy to dive way too deep on any little minutia. So please come to our Discord and come to our AMAs, and we'll happily field as many questions as you have. We'll have fun with it.
You guys are welcome to ours as well. We have sections for writing and programming and even business related stuff where people who are developers are trying to learn new stuff. And it's all done through a bunch of Discord roles and things like that. So when people want to talk about narrative stuff, if you're down to chat, that's a great place to do it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate doing the interview and showcasing our game.
Yeah,
No,
thank you so much.
Honestly, pleasure's all mine. You guys' stuff is really, really cool, and I'm happy to have you on here. This event has been amazing because of games like yours and people like you coming on to come talk about stuff. And I think it gives a lot of context to people who either don't make games or are just starting to make games. And I think it shows us just how upsetting our wallets are going to be in the next several, maybe about 6 months. there's so like my wish list is enormous now, man. Like there's just been some amazing games that have come through this, including yours. So thank you guys very much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, take care and happy holidays.
Yeah, you too.
Happy holidays, everybody.
You guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Thank you very much.